Full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the largest ground war in Europe since World War II, triggered one of the largest refugee crises as well, with tens of thousands of Ukrainians seeking shelter in nearby countries, really millions. According to the UN Center for Refugees, over 6 million Ukrainians have fled the country in total since Russia's invasion, with the majority heading to nearby Poland. Joining us now is Daria Kristenko. She's a Ukrainian refugee who now works as Education and Emergencies Manager for the international humanitarian agency CARE, which has been providing support to refugees in Poland since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And it really was, and Daria, an incredible scene over the course of 3, 4, 5 months since the war began to see millions of Ukrainians just pour into Poland. And my brother, who's serving as ambassador there, would tell me that the most incredible stories of Poles opening their homes to these refugees just without thought, without a second thought, just to take them in. But the question I have for you is, what has the effort been to relocate these people, to establish them in a new life? And 2 years later, what is the state of Ukrainian refugees in Poland?
So you are absolutely right. People came, and Polish society, Polish people, they opened their hearts, their homes. They were so hospitable. They have shown such a generosity towards Ukrainian refugees. And mainly those are women with children. And of course, within now, after 2 years, people's needs are still there. They have changed. But what we do now here, we see that Ukrainian children, Ukrainian parents, Ukrainian mothers, they need stability, they need support, and they need this feeling of settling in new place. And they understand that probably for some people, they might not return. Some people have lost their homes. Some people have lost not just homes, but the whole cities, the whole infrastructures. There is nowhere to return. There are no schools, no work, nowhere. And the moment for at least. So for the people, for the children especially, we are trying to support them in education sector. We hope to integrate and to support them in integration into Polish education system. Unfortunately, there are more children out of school than in school in Polish system. And this is upsetting, and this is something very striking for Ukrainian children. We are now at risk we are facing risk of lost generation. If we don't support, if we don't provide education for the children, we might not have future teachers, future professors, future writers, future scientists. So this is where we think it's the most important, to provide this support to new generation, to young people, to young future of our country, of my country, Ukraine.
So a couple of questions in one. They crossed the border. They actually crossed a border, many of these refugees from Ukraine into Poland, through a town where my father was born. And then they were moved throughout Poland. And my question is, what are the numbers now? Have others moved to other countries, or are they making their new life in Poland? And what are the challenges?
So some people, of course, they've used Poland as a transit zone to move to another places. But many of people whom I talk to, they choose to stay in Poland. Poland is the closest, the neighboring country. So for many, it's the chance to go back to visit their family. Like me, my grandma and my dad, they stayed in Ukraine. They decided not to go. So it's very important for just regular people to have this opportunity to just sit on the bus or on the train and go back home and then return. And also, you're absolutely right. For many Ukrainians, Poland has become a second home. It was at the beginning of the war, the challenges were different. People were just coming and they didn't know what to do. They just needed some basic support, some food, some water, some shelter to sleep and to just think what to do next. And now those who have stayed, they are settling in. They are building their new lives here. So this is, and they have, and it doesn't mean that they don't need support. The support, people who have come 2 years ago, even those who have savings, they have already spent all the savings. So economically, they need support. They need more support now than it was 2 years ago. And the same with children. They have moved from their homes within a few hours sometimes. And now they are living here, they are adjusting to a new life, they are making new friends. And this is also where we try to support them with psychological support, with some catch-up classes where they can learn just simple Polish and fill in the gaps in knowledge so they feel equal to Polish kids, to Polish peers, where they can go to school and they can feel free and they can feel welcome, and also they will have the same knowledge. They don't have these knowledge barriers, so they have brighter future. I was just yesterday in another city in Gdańsk where I met these teenage children who are part of our program, and one of the boys said that the program is the best thing that happened to him over these 2 years. He was alone in a new city. He didn't speak Polish. He didn't have friends, and now he comes to these classes. He learns Polish. He speaks fluently already, and he has met the most important. Now he has friends to just, and he feels safe in this new place, in this new country, where now is his home.
Education and Emergencies Manager for CARE Poland. It's an incredible story, really. Daria Kristenko, thank you very much for coming on the show this morning.